it is something I've never drunk in my life. It's a substance that most people know. It's black and it's called coffee. I was 4 and fell with my scooter down the stairs with the marble tiles at home in the sitting room, and I fell hard and with my head back to front on the tiles, and I screamed, and Mum saw that blood was flowing from my head, and Mum screamed and I screamed, and Mum ran into the street to get help, and it was still hurting, and our Egyptian neighbor opposite knew how to make the pain go away, she said. She knew the cure, she said, that it was with coffee from the coffee packet, she said, and she rubbed the coffee into the dark hole in my head, and I felt the sting of the coffee in my entire head and in my body, and it still hurt a great deal, and since then I never drink coffee and I hardly sleep. That's how it all started. I think the main question is not why did I become a poet, or why does one become a writer, but why did the other people refrain of being so? Why did the other people stop being that poet too, or that singer, or that painter that each and every child is when he or she is young? It is a city where ugliness and beauty live side by side and in and through each other, like some kind of parasital sort of tree, you know, that is intertwining on other trees. For me, it's a very natural thing to combine music and poetry and even other forms of art. Listening to our albums makes you feel that you are watching or living a movie. There is a whole area in between mass culture and highbrow elitist art that is still to be developed and fertilized, and that's where I think Project Bulletin Dance originated from. It's an ironic name, because of course poetry is about rhythm. Of course you also realize that words also have their limits. That probably feelings are deeper than words, than ratio, you know, because feelings are endless. I have more the feeling that I live some kind of secluded life here. Obviously, it is a position that I've chosen to be an outsider because it sharpens the senses, and probably it is also a bit of an egotistic thing that you think that you're different than the other ones and that you're comfortable in being so. Yeah, because the ultimate condition for writing well is concentration, and this kind of concentration you cannot have when you're being distracted all the time too much. Probably it was also one of the reasons that I went away from Amsterdam, which is a wonderful city, but where every day there was things to do in my agenda, to the point that I really had to gasp for air, you know, like I want some time for myself, I want some time to reflect and to not follow my hideous soul that has gone wild. I want to concentrate and create. It's a choice, Jeff. Go to the market on Sunday, the market near South Station, you know, and smell all these others, and feel like a Mediterranean. One of the most magnificent places I know in Brussels is just outside Brussels. It's the African Palace, the museum for Central Africa in Tervuren. You go there with tram 44, with tram 44, and you really feel like being in a short story by Emile Zola. And huge gardens, and in the midst of this splendor there is this museum which has a colonial cafe where you can drink from calabasas. It is like stepping into a time machine where you're being beamed back to a different time, a different decade.
Met een slag in de arm.
Question. I think it's a continuous process of discovery, and one in which you have to be very open-minded, but also very open towards to open your senses, but also to open your spiritual kind of aptness that you can only do by putting the limits very high on yourself, and by making these endless journeys inside of the soul of yourself. And that is a very challenging thing, but it's also a very individual thing. And of course the magic is to bring out that personal experience and journey to a greater audience by means of writing or music there lies the task.
O toon van de tijd, als we het vaarland zijn. O weet